Pretty busy.
Down by the river on a Friday night, pyramid of cans in the pale moonlight, talking about cars and dreaming about women. Never had a plan, just a little.
Pretty busy here in Indian Prairie.
Yeah, I went down yonder on a Chattanooga. Never knew how much that muddy water meant.
Everybody's in a hurry,
I
guys.
learned how to swim and I learned who I was. A lot about living and a little about love.
Everybody's in a hurry. Morning. Morning. All right, get the old tugboat here and see if I can do any good.
The wind is in my old shed. I was willing, but she wasn't ready. So I settled for a burger and a grape snow cone. Dropped her off.
It was a good morning getting run over.
Let's go fishing. I'm on a mission. It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find us a shady little spot, not too cool, not too high.
Well, I stood up for the dance again this morning. My party didn't show up. They didn't call or this and that. There was a kind of a breakdown in communication. I guess the shop was supposed to call them back, and they said this and that, and the shop said they didn't. So well, anyway, they didn't show up. So I had the bait and everything ready. So I just put the poles in the water and fished by myself, and I caught a few fish. But yeah, it was just I tried trolling a little bit. I didn't do any good. So I got a few minis and caught, and I put the minis out and caught some fish. I mean, some of them were borderline, some of them were pretty good, But I could see them down there when I was trolling on the electronics, but I just couldn't get them to hit. But that being said, there must have been 100 boats and trailers and trucks at Indian Prairie this morning, and they went down that canal. It was like a boat races, and I'm sure it stirred them up, and they just not going to hit. I tried it about halfway down, and there was a couple guys said they was catching them, but I wasn't catching any. So I went all the way down to the mouth there at the end, trolled a little bit down there, and no good. I watched some guys catch some on. They were just kind of moving around with minis, catching a few here and there. But I just, I beat the dead horse. I just could not get the troll bite to hit. So I brought the cane poles out and put some minis on them, and I caught some that way. I just, the old-fashioned way, which I like doing that. I just sit back and watch the end of the pole bounce down and set the hook. And I ended up with a 14 doing that. So, yeah, I got another trip in the morning. There's a guy coming up from Fort Lauderdale wanting to go fishing. So, yeah, I'll save him for him too. Give him a mess for there. But got a lot of little ones there doing that too. But I caught some good ones too. As you can see there, some of them are pretty good size. Yeah, I had a good morning this morning. But yeah, I wish the parties would call and say, "Hey, man, we can't make it," which would help me out tremendously, So, but that's all right to do it. But still, it would kind of help me out. Anyhow, tomorrow's another day, and I ended up catching some fish. I really didn't. I was super tired anyway. I didn't sleep real good last night, so I wasn't too much into it. But you can see the cloud cover. It was really cloudy, but I showed you the parking lot, and that wasn't nothing compared to when I took out. When I took out, I'm not exaggerating, the trucks and trailers were almost clear out to the highway part. And kind of interesting, really interesting. You're taking out, you're back in there and you're taking out, and these people parking along the guardrails are pulling out and backing back towards you. Okay? Or backing back towards you. So there you go, you're pulling out. Where are you going to go? Which way are you going to go? Which way you're going to go? There's nowhere to go. That's just kind of a nightmare. Indian Prairie's the worst I'd ever seen it. As far as that goes. And the fish weren't really hitting down there in the prairie either. Going down there, but there were a lot of boats, and everybody was doing a little bit of thing. There were some jigging, some middying, some trolling. Everybody's doing a little bit of everything. I got down there at the mouth, and two guys in a Vexus, I think that's the name of the bass boat, come around there doing, I'm not kidding you, they're doing 60 miles an hour, made a turn, and I could just almost reach out and touch them. And another guy come up through there in a duck boat, and I'll show it to you. He come right at me, coming right straight at me, so I didn't know which way to go. You know, I'm thinking, well, I'll just go to the right, go to the left, and I don't know, just, this time of year brings out the idiots. I'm not kidding you, on the water. It just, there's no courtesy. I mean, and it's kind of interesting. Some people do slow down, but a lot of people will not slow down. I mean, no matter what, they will not slow down. I mean, if they come within 5 feet of you, so be it. You know, all you got to do is, like, there's 3 or 4 boats right there, just slow down and go real slow. But, you know, them guys, they won't come off, they won't slow down. They just get in there and go wide open. It's just, I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, you can see me measuring some of them here. Some of them made, some of them didn't. Some of them were a little bit short. But, you know, the ones that I didn't have to measure, my gosh, they were 11 and a half, 12 inches long. They were really good fish. And I was picking one up, and I'm not exaggerating, it's probably close to 2 pounds, and I was picking it up, and just as I got it to them halfway out of the water, it broke my line. But it was a giant, so. But yeah, well, you know, but that line I have on these cane poles has been on there since last year, and it's 6-pound test, but it's been on there since last year in my building, and it gets probably 120 degrees out there in the summertime, and just bake that line. I'm putting all new line on my cane poles, so that should help. Shouldn't lose any more. There, I got a good one there. I mean, the ones you didn't have to measure, my gosh, they were big. I mean, they were fat. And, they were pretty good sized fish. It was calm when I first put in this morning, but I took out about 10:30, and I put in about 7, something about around 7, and like I said, I trolled down there a little bit, didn't do any good, but and then right before I took out, that wind really started picking up pretty good. Still catches some pretty nice fish, as you can see right there. I mean, pretty good fish. But yeah, I got to put some new line on them. I'll save it on there maybe a couple years. I don't know. I'll just bring them home, put some line on them. They'd hit, then it would slow down, just like a bunch would come up the canal there, and all of a sudden you'd catch a few of them, then they'd slow down a little bit, you know, just. Fish just moving around wherever the bait was. They were moving around. They were feeding good because they were fat. Even the little ones were really fat. So. I'm using them. I got them 10-foot cane poles there. I got at GARRARD's Tackle Shop, and of course I'm using them gold hooks. I like them Mustad gold hooks, you know, the smaller ones. And I'm using a number 7 split shot, kind of hold it down so, you know, it keeps that. It don't hurt anything. I'll just put that split shot up about a foot above it, and it kind of holds the end of that pole down a little bit, keeps it from blowing around so much, but because the wind really did pick up. Yeah, the fish were still hitting fairly good. I mean, it was just where you wasn't, getting bored. You get one now and then, and you get a little one, then you get a couple nice ones. But yeah, it was a pretty good morning after I figured out what to do a little bit. But like I said, the trolling just did not happen. I mean, I tried everything in the world to try to troll, and it just didn't happen. So all else fails, you can jig and many, But I enjoy many, and I like nothing into that pole down. And you can always get you a mess of fish doing that. I mean, if the crappie are in like that, you can always get you a mess of crappie, one way or the other. Minis, trolling, jigging, whatever it takes. Down here on Lake Okeechobee, from about the 1st December up till about the 1st of May, you can just change tactics. You can always get you a mess of fish. I was talking to an old boy this morning. He said he'd been catching pretty nice fish on flukes. He had been fluking a little bit and catching some 5 and 6 pound ones. But he caught, I think, 21 or something like that yesterday. I know Mr. Larry caught 24 with shiners, and he caught a couple 5 and 6 pounders. So the bass are starting to come in a little bit, starting to hit a little bit. But the crappie thing, I don't know. They're not right up on the bank yet. I don't know why, but I don't know if they're dropping this lake that is kind of keeping them pulled back this year. But I would think eventually they'll come up on the bank where you can jig and catch them, because they got to have something, to lay their eggs on. So I mean, they're out in the reeds. I mean, if you go out in the reeds, they're there. But usually in the canal and in the river and places like that, you can pull up on the bank and catch some crappie on the bank, just jigging down through there. You can get you a dozen for a mess, But it's not. I think it's going to happen. Everybody says it's going to happen, but it's not happened yet. Yeah, I got a pretty good mess now. I'm getting ready to quit. I got several crappie, and I don't usually keep them, but like I said, I got a trip tomorrow morning, and that old boy wants them all. I'll clean him a mess of them too, and see if he can get a dozen or so. Well, then he'll have a pretty nice mess. Them fiberglass poles, they're pretty handy. I mean, I was bumping them against stuff, and it's just hard. You can't hardly break them. I mean, they're pretty bulletproof. I mean, they hold up. When I'm sitting still like that, and I find some crappie, I turn my electronics off, because underneath the water, when you got that live target or anything, it's making a ping, just ping. If you went under and listened, you could hear it. It's every ping, like the old submarine movies where you seen them World War II submarine movies where they was, pinging and seeing where the other boats was. Well, this electronic does the same thing, and I don't know if it scares them or not, but I shut it down when I'm not moving too much. I just turn it clear off. Anything to give us an advantage and try to catch some fish. There's a dandy there. Had another good morning on Okeechobee, and getting ready to bring him in and head for the house. No complaints. Like I said, the trolling bite didn't happen, but you can always kind of just move around a little bit with minis and catch a mess of fish. Any way to catch them. And the crappie, I noticed too, down there where I was trolling, when all that boat traffic, they had them right down on bottom, and and you couldn't go out there. They pulled off the bank when they're doing like that. They'll pull off the bank and go out in the middle and get kind of, I always say, in survival mode, and you can't go out there and get them because there's so much, 100 boats running up and down through there. You just, from here till, like I said, till May, you know, the snowbirds are down here, and they just run up and down through there just as wide as they can go. I don't care where they're at. They're just got the pedal to the metal.